The closer the knit, the tighter the fit, and the chills stay away. Brr-cha. What can you do? Ooh, and we're living in the love with the comics people, trying to make a living in the best that we can. Daddy's gonna give us a glass of Kool-Aid. Mama's gonna love you just as much as she can. And she can. And we're living in the love of the comics people. That's you. That's me. That's Pika. That's us here. A musical interlude inspired by my friend Jim Werner of Weird Science Comics, who does song parodies about comic books. You should check him out. I'll leave the link for you so you can go subscribe and get some comics reviews. And that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about comic books. We assemble here at our very own Comics Talk here with Reverend Sully. I'm an ordained minister of independent faith for half of my life. I'm a spiritual guy, a seeker who has sought and has found. And it's just like that, just like the mystical journey in Circle of Iron when you open the book and each page is a mirror and you have the laugh of the enlightened. Indeed. Yeah. How are you today? This is the Comics Talk with Reverend Sully, at the dojo for tactical and practical spirituality, the kind that will get you some real traction on what's bugging you. And chances are that could be your self-talk. And it's a matter of purpose and gratitude. I use a gratitude list. So you'll find plenty of gratitude lists in their own playlist. So check out the channel a bit. Please browse around. Look at the playlist. We love, hey, every October, I do the 31 Days of Halloween, which is we do 31 horror movies, one a day, through the month of October. We're going to be doing the 3rd annual one later this year. I love it. I love movies. I should do more movie reviews. But hey, making content is no joke. You have to make time for it, and it can clobber you, especially with your dashed expectations if you don't meet your goals, and if you feel like it's not working. This is a really good hobby about my hobby, and we used to have a daily show. We used to talk about comic books every day, and that's what brought a lot of us together. But my work life had an unbalance. So I really needed to reevaluate, rejudge. And, I too have thought about ditching the whole thing. I have. Wes mentioned it on his past Saturday show. He had me on his panel. He asked me, like, how's things going? You're fighting with YouTube. I do that on Twitter, X. And apparently after about 13 weeks of live chats where I'm noticing that, like, hey, all of my views from the live stream are taken away from me. And that's like 20. I'm a growing channel looking to break my 4,000. And that's like 20 hours of views per episode that you're taking away from me. And then they drop after 12, 13 weeks, they're dropping like, oh, here's their guidelines where, your live stream premiere doesn't count. It's the published video stuff. And I'm like, why bother doing live streams? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's fun. It keeps me in touch with everyone that's watching the show. And it's literally something to do. And it was something that I made a choice to do, going away from the pre-recorded daily content. We had a pre-recorded 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily show for about a year and a half. I did about almost 550 consecutive episodes or something like that, like 564 was it? And let me know in the comments if you remember that exact number. Back when we were the Comics Coffee Table, when we would assemble at 3 p.m. Now we do it at 4 p.m. on Wednesdays, just to let you know that this episode is pre-recorded before a live studio audience of my stuffed animals from Boston Studios, which is down the street from the corner. And you are wicked pissa, my friend, for showing up today. We have our executive producer, Pika. We got the Studio Audient, the Canadian Bear, and over there is Drinker. Yeah, Critical Drinker plushie. He's in the control booth. He runs the boom mic, camera, and backgrounds. He's also found my Cecil hat. Hilarity will ensue, I promise you. Oh, boy. How are you today? It's New Comic Book Day. And what we do on New Comic Book Day, we talk about what's new. This week, we go to something called League of Comic Geeks.com and /comics/new-comics/ that is your URL, your universal resource locator. Yes, the HTTP, the hypertext transfer protocol. You should look under the hood of these websites sometimes. Oh, it's a bigger week. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16? Don't leave me alone. I'm bad at math. 16 times 8 minus 2. So we have 126 floppy periodicals solicited for today, and not any local comic book store can get them all, unless that's their milieu, their thing. Pardon me while I work on my blocking. I was gonna move the microphone stand over to the other side of my desk. It sounded good in theory, Pika. It really did. But maybe we'll work on that. I mean, I don't know about that one. It was a good. That was a good suggestion though, Pika. Let's see. Let's go to League of Comic Geeks. We get and I apologize for the ads. Yeah, they're everywhere. And let's share that screen. Roll that wonderful beaten footage. Here we are. League of Comic Geeks. This is how it looks here. And these are the funny books you will find on your shelves at your local comic book shops today. Oh, wow. And I started at the bottom of the list because we might I magnified the wrong screen. We might find something that we might have missed. Now we can put on our list and it's on our radar. We can even ask. Now, if we were to look at this a month ahead of time, which I'm gonna start doing, because now I have a pull list. Yeah, since the show's starting, why is the show's hour changed from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.? Well, it's because I had to balance my work life in balance. So my hours at work got adjusted. So now I'm going in an hour later and leaving an hour later, which means I'm getting to the LCS on Wednesdays an hour later than what I usually have been getting there with. Yeah. And let's see, Witch Hammer #3 by American Mythology, $4.99. Ghosts on the Water by Scout Comics. I've tried Scout. Let's look at in the Maori culture, water is life and death. So we're gonna have strong women with face tattoos. All right, I get it. Sure, that's a Maori custom. They're an indigenous folk of New Zealand, as the Aboriginal are the indigenous folk of Australia. Don't get them confused, please. Seriously, it's like I'm a chef, and I work with lots of Latinos, lots of Central and South Americans. So I mean, try speaking Spanish to a Brazilian. They speak Portuguese. Don't call a Honduran, hey, you must be from Mexico. No, he's from Honduras. He's from Guatemala. He's from El Salvador. She's from Colombia. She's from Ecuador. They're from Chile. It's easy. Just you get to know people and their cultures and their regions. It's just like here. Like, oh, someone would tell, hey, you must be some kind of good old boy, Yankee. Like, no, I'm from Boston. Don't call me a Yankee. You tracksuit mafia looking mother. So sorry, I just went there. But let's see. It's issue 2. Ben Goldsmith, Jeremy Dutches, and there's a couple of ways you could pronounce that. That's one thing I like about comic books. Sometimes you come across names and words that you don't know how to pronounce because it's not there's no audio. Like, I make a big deal about something such as onomatopoeia in a comic book. Onomatopoeia is a word that's spelled the way it sounds, like ploop, snikt, thump, thwip, pop, smash, kerrang. And more and more for the past 20 years, since digital lettering, digital filters and techniques have encroached its way into this visual medium, these are also time-saving measures and cost-saving measures as well. Yet, when you see something such as Nick Klein's work over on the current Incredible Hulk, and you see all the luscious, delicious, well-drawn by hand onomatopoeia that's part of the art in the background that supports this action scene of biological transformation, and of like real things like fruit ripping, you know what I mean, and just like and wet sounds as opposed to explosive sounds of destruction and rubble and concrete and steel, and just the visceral sounds. The sound design of a movie is all in the onomatopoeia of your comic book, and it's in the art. They're the sound effects, and sometimes they look good, and sometimes they look just plain old cheesy and hokey, and can really take away from the overall pleasure. I mean, badly lettered stuff with bad lettering placement of word balloons and thought balloons. Well, I know they don't do thought balloons anymore. You relic. We have Greylock #2 from Scout. I bought some Scout books. I did. I was happy with Count Dante, and that was a 6-issue mini. I was getting Oswald and the Star Chasers, but that's like that fizzled out on its own. I tried a couple of other things, but it was like, that it's that thing I got about, here's just some more printed up digital art. And it doesn't really, but the hunt has begun in Greylock, and every wand for hire in the city is on the Mind Witch's trail. Greylock will need every trick up his sleeve in order to find her first and keep his eyes peeled. Just because they're all on the same side, they're all after the same prey, does not mean the other hunters are on Greylock's side. Harley. Yes, that's my Mark Hamill Joker voice. I love, Mark Hamill is Mark Hamill. Let him be. He's, he's like 85% awesome. You know what I mean? He says some really terrible things about people on the other side of the aisle. All I can imagine is, what would your mother do? You two better get along, or else you're not going to see, I was going to get you McDonald's. Really? But I wanted a Happy Meal. There's a Pokemon toy. I gotta get him. Oh, Mama, can I please have my cheeseburger with no onions, please, Mama? Please, no, orange soda, please, Mama. I'll be good. I love orange soda. I love McDonald's burgers. I love cheeseburgers. I love them so much. I literally make my cheeseburgers McDonald's way. I do. It's roll. It's got mustard, yellow mustard, regular ketchup, finely diced white, yellow, or white or yellow onions, sliced dill pickles, and yellow cheese, American cheese hamburgers, and that's it. And it's like, it tastes like a double quarter pounder with cheese. I would love to double quarter pounder, if you know what I mean. Wow, where did that come from? Wow, geesh. And yeah, the seance room. Okay, this has been solicited like 3-4 weeks in a row. Weeks in a row. Weeks in a row. I should tell my comic book store, because I just got a pull list. Why not? I like Ben Temple Smith's art. He's just amazing. I mean, I want to check this out. I want a copy of this. Maybe I should use. I've got connections. We like to get comic books, and so let's see. Where? Okay. My Little Pony. Wow, there are a lot of comics. So yeah, there's Archie. We never get Archie. No, I don't buy Archie anymore. I won't buy Archie. I'm so sorry. And I know that I have friends of friends who are deeply connected with Archie comics and produce things for them. But I mean, I'm sorry. I'm never going to buy an Archie comic book ever again. Sorry. Yeah, nah, that wasn't right. But hey, good luck with your what do you think would be better? Let me know in the comments section. Archie comics. It's something we've never really touched here, besides my disdain for him via Afterlife with Archie and my eternal disappointment for the dropping of the ball with not getting the last 2 issues of that to complete the story. Wow, thank you for the unfinished book series. It's worthless. Oh, well, we had excuses, and I'm sorry that's how you feel. Sorry, that's how you feel. Sorry. I'm sorry that's how you feel. That's one of the worst things anyone can say to anyone. I'm sorry that's how you feel. And they don't get what they're saying. Or maybe they do, and they're just trying to be insulting. And here we are. Let's just go to the top of the list. Let's just do it. Let's start it up real quick. Before we do, we just wanted to say, just to take a moment to appreciate Pikachu and the job he does. Pikachu is a boy. You can tell a Pokemon's gender. Some Pokemon are they, them. Some Pokemon are him or her. And you can always tell a Pikachu by their tail. A girl Pikachu has a heart at the end of their tail. And a boy Pikachu has just the edge of the Thunderbolt motif. So, you don't have to totally look under a Pikachu's tail to see what, their genitalia would be. I mean, is that something you usually do? I mean, well, when you're buying a pet, it's kind of like, you need to know in a way. I don't know where that came from, Pika, but it came from the heart. We're heartfelt here. We really are. We got a big heart here. Room for everyone. Oh man, I don't know if the coughing has a gender. I don't care either. Let's share screen. Girl Pikachu and boy Pikachus, they make little Pikachus. We have Spider-Man Gang War. Spider-Man issue 44. This is the penultimate story, the penultimate chapter of the Gang War event and saga. Let's just run 38 issues. Oh, okay. No, actually, it's got a few more. This issue 30, this issue. Here, let's look at this gang war ticker thing. Featured characters are Spider-Man. Oh, of course. No, we have Spider-Man. We have Miles Morales. And we've got Luke Cage. Oh no! All the hate in the comments. I'm sorry. Well, I'm one of those people that, you know, Miles was Spider-Man in the original Earth 16, 1660. Was it 1660? It's 6160 right now. Before it was 1610. Got it. Okay. And that was the Ultimate Universe Earth designation. Let's see. We got She-Hulk, Spider-Woman, Daredevil. Not really. It's the same thing. It's like Madam Mask. Great Madam Mask story. Great Tombstone story. Beetle. The second Beetle here is Tombstone's daughter. We have Shang-Chi. White Rabbit. It was this chaotic character, but she's been around since like the early 80s. So like, don't mistake White Rabbit as being some kind of Harley Quinn pastiche. White Rabbit really let's look it up. That's why we're here. Marvel White Rabbit. I remember seeing her in the cover of a Spectacular Spider-Man from like 1982. Was that it? Her name is Lorena Dodson. And it was Marvel Team Up 131 from Marvel from April of 1983. Yes, that's what I remember. Let's see. Present, stop screen, present, share screen. Marvel Team Up. Who? Yeah, this is I remember this issue. Yeah. Might have even had this Marvel Team Up. Spider-Man and Frogman. Enter the White Rabbit. She looks pretty much the same. Yeah. And that's Lorena Dodson of Earth 616. And that's our Earth. And this is a great wiki because we come here to read wikis. But this is marvelfandom.com. Oh, that's her gallery. That's all of her pictures. Stop sharing. Here we go. White Rabbit's origins. Born into a rich family, Lorena was a sheltered child, protected by overbearing parents intent on seeing their daughter become a proper lady. That's right. And we can get back to... Let's get back to the funny books. Oh, there it is. Okay. We were at the Gang War reading order, though. And it will... Okay, so the last chapter will be the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man 145. And so today is Amazing Spider-Man 44. There's Miles Morales 17, Daredevil Gang War number 4, and then it will all end in ASM 38. ASM 45. This would be 38 chapters to the Gang War. Let's look at, I've been enjoying it. $4.99. It says 28 pages, but it's literally 20 pages of story and art with a cover. It's a 21. The info dump pages, 22 and 23. And the final page with the indicia, 24. And, is that it? Is that how it goes? I don't know everything. I might know it all, but I kind of I don't know everything. What we got for wow, variant covers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 variant covers. We got 1 incentive cover and 2 retailer exclusives for an issue 44. That's not, maybe someone might die, so it might be a key issue. You never know. I don't. let's see. Let's get back to it. Detective Comics is just really good. Really, really good. But I haven't been buying it, though. I'm not buying Detective Comics. I am buying other things, though. But yeah, this is Batman's surreal trek across the desert. Elegy of Sand continues. Batman's hallucinatory trek across the desert between worlds becomes even more dangerous as he finds himself face to face. Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. Meanwhile, in Gotham, a strange utopia is blooming as the orgams continue to hypnotize the public into believing that Batman never existed. And as this nightless city thrives, one must ask, did Gotham ever need Batman in the first place? $4.99, 40 pages. We've got some really good variant covers here, 2 incentive covers. Ricardo Federici, really good art. Also, yeah, Rafale is helping him out too, and who's been doing excellent work on Catwoman. I'm in for this. I really am. I'm buying this. It's Wolverine, and it's a 10 issue of like mini event. It's going to lead up until issue 50, which is the last issue of Wolverine before the reset, before the Krakoan age ends. Now, here's the rub, though. In the last issue of Wolverine, Sabretooth War, which I bought. See? Okay, that's the last issue, 43. This is really good. But it will tell you like right from the beginning. Note, this story takes place after X-Force 50 and prior to Fall of the House of X, part number 1, and Rise of the Powers of 10, issue number 1. Okay, so that's how you know, okay, because you have plenty of things going on all at the same time. It feels that way. But sometimes you can just look closer and be like, oh, wow, really? Thank you for letting me know. Because I was like, okay, all these people getting killed in Sabretooth War are doing, like, they're at the same geographical place and over on X-Force. And then you've got, because we had some spoilers with the solicits, especially of Wolverine 50 last week. So we kind of know what's going to happen at the end of this. And then also, since we've got Fall of the House of X, and Wolverine is just like he's either been killed and reborn again, and had there was we used one of his emergency protocol pods or something. I don't know if that exists. It must. Sabretooth War Part 4. And it's Victor Lavalle and Benjamin Percy, and just really good stuff. I mean, really nice. We got 2 retail exclusives for Unknown Comics. There's a 1 in 25 Declan Shelby, a 1 in 100 Lionel Francis Yu, a Salvador LaRocca variant. Now that's Salvador LaRocca art. That is. Salvador LaRocca's drawn a ton of X-Men over the past 30 years. So when I look at his stuff right now on Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, the adaptation of the Disney Plus TV show, it literally looks like tracing. And this is Salvador Larocco we're talking about. Like one of my, he's like this, he's a legend, dude. I'm not giving them shade. I'm not giving him any shit. I'm just more of like, I noticed this a couple of months ago. Like, I didn't watch Kenobi on D+. So I'm wondering, are these these look like freeze frames of the actual show, you know, drawn over with a photorealism. Photorealism is an art term, and it means like, because you can get a cartoon, these are comics, so there's a spectrum of how defined your subject is, and it can go from cartoony and abstract all the way to its other end, which is like photorealistic, and there's a whole spectrum in between of like, you know, of style and depiction, you know. So it's kind of like you could be, you know, adapting the story from a script using like new camera angles, you know, and new perspectives. But it just seems really like, this could be phoned in, you know. Hey, Miles Morales is hitting 300 issues next month, $3.99, 28 pages. It's the fallout from Gang War. Spider-Man needs rest. Warrior needs food badly. New York City needs to heal. But the most dangerous supervillain in Spidey's history needs Miles Morales to die. Okay, sure. And 2 variant covers written by Cody Ziegler. It's not terrible. I mean, this book isn't terrible. I read everything that's in my pirate chest, and that's all the Marvel ones. And sometimes I save them till the end of the stack. And so I'm usually reading Miles Morales by day 2 or 3. So it's not like it's, I don't want to say something like, oh, it's not made for me. No. It's a Spider-Man book. It's made for me. Dude, I was reading Black Panther and Luke Cage and Storm when I was a kid. I mean, black characters are awesome. Speaking of, we've got Joshua Williamson's Green Arrow. And this is this is actually, it doesn't have any trade dress on it, but we've got this is an epilogue to Beast World. See, it's issue 22 of 22 of Beast World. Can you see that right there on your TV screens? You might be watching on your phone, and none of this makes sense. All this effort that Pika puts into it, the show, it just wasted on this podcast format. Which I there's a podcast playlist out there too. Subscribe to that. You know, like a lot of these shows, like the gratitude list and the comic books, I think would work pretty nicely as a podcast. I got distracted. I was looking at other stuff. You know. Oh, what happened to that? Pika, what's going on here? Are you having a kicking a township rebellion or something? You know, why stand on a silent platform? Fight the norm. Fight the war. Fuck the norm. Why? You know. Yeah. You know, I don't know. What is this, Pika? Are you doxing us? What is going on here? That's my Match.com profile. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just fucking around. This is my Match.com profile. And maybe my 3rd time doing Match.com in the past 8 years. And look, I get Sideshow. That's why I wanted to show you, because it's like I get ads tailored to me from Sideshow. And this is this really nice 3PO, and he's getting his eye pulled out by Silicius Crumb. And oh my God, I almost got that. I really did. But yeah, this is that's I'm being silly. Okay, let's stop that. Get back to how dare you? I'm gonna get back to the real stuff here. Green Arrow. But yeah, Amanda Waller, and she's going to be part of it of a dark triad, a dark trinity coming out in this summer's DC big event. I think it's called Absolute Power, where Amanda Waller teams up. Spoilers, because this is what happens when you have spoiler culture and solicits in comics. Like, oh look, there's a dark trinity, and you have Amanda Waller, you have Failsafe, who probably has Zernar inside of him, and the Brainiac Queen, which is a female version of Brainiac, and kind of like it looks like it's a ripoff of the Borg or the Borg Queen, or maybe it's like, I don't know. But that's what's but reading Batman, it's like, okay, all of this fail-safe stuff is going somewhere, and it's going to the summer event. So it's kind of like just kind of diffused all the tension, what's going on in that book, just in one and in one solicit image, you know. But you know, over at Titans Beast War, Amanda Waller was one of the big movers and shakers in that title. Amanda Waller is she's being set up. Amanda Waller's got a great history, okay, and I like that Amanda is being shown in a very kind of classic way. She's a plus size woman, and we've got we got 2 variant covers and 1 incentive cover, and but yeah, Amanda Waller usually she's a little larger than this. Yeah, she's a rotund. When did Amanda Waller, also known as The Wall, and her first appearance was in DC Comics Legends #1, November of 1986, created by John Ostrander, Len Wein, and John Byrne. Her full name is Amanda Blake Waller. She's a human, but she's one of these, like, hyper vigilant protective, like wall keepers. She's a gatekeeper, and she's an anti-hero because she's on the side of good, technically, yet she uses outrageous leverages to get her way, and underhanded dirty tricks, and just she is in charge of what is the Suicide Squad. So she will be the one that injects a bomb into your body and tells you that you have 24 hours to do this, and your price and the cost for you is either your freedom if you survive, or welcome to the Suicide Squad, as in Gamecraft and Warcraft. Is that how it said? Warcraft, is it? What's the game with all the blocks? In Minecraft. That's right. Thank you. So yeah, Green Arrow #7. This let's see how long this iteration of Green Arrow lasts. Joshua Williamson. It was originally supposed to be a 6-issue mini, and Williamson's been doing a good job on DC and over at Skybound. I'm reading his Cobra Commander and his Duke books. Those are good. I'm also reading Superman, which is fine because, I mean, this doesn't really have to land any stories. He's got this perpetuating ongoing, and it's It's pretty fun. I'm liking a Superman a lot. I didn't think I would. I see. I like being surprised. Like, hey, guess what? I've bought most issues of Superman, and that is like literally like the last issue of Superman I bought was issue 11 this past week, and it's an 11-part story. That means this is a 12-part story. I mean that there is a focus on longer arcs by the same writer. I'm liking that's it's not as chaotic as I thought there would be. You know, a writer is given here. Maybe they're given 6 issues to be like, hey, let's see how this goes. If there's a good response, you've got it. Speaking of, Thor has been going on for a long time now. Legacy 768. We got into a great conversation about legacy numbers on Thinking Critical this past Saturday. I was blessed to be on the panel with Doc and Aaron Sparrow. It was Wes's birthday. That was great. And Jim and Drew from Comics Elite. So, and we brought up legacy numbering and like what constitutes the legacy numbering of the X-Men book. And so when you have different titles over the years, they're different magazine titles. It's like Hockey News is a weekly publication, something like that. You know, it's a newsstand item product. Yet their magazine specials, they don't contribute to their overall volume and issue count. Like these are like publishing ideas, you know? I mean, just Barbie. You know, the thing about Barbie, I've taken heat for my opinion of Simu Liu, but he was very entertaining in the Barbie movie. I'll tell you that much. He might be an asshole, but just I get the whole pushing back on Chud's things, especially by alpha males of the left and the progressives. I get it. They have their alpha males too. Don't the Russians love their children too? That's a song from the 80s. Sting, formerly of the Police, you may know him as Gordon Sumner, the model for John Constantine. Wow. All right, so it's Immortal Thor number 7. Torrin Groenbeck still writing this? No, it's been handed over to Al Ewing. So here we go. Torrin Groenbeck did the first couple of issues, and we've had a handoff to another Marvel bullpen writer, Al Ewing. We're still getting these beautiful Alex Ross covers, and but it's not enough to make me want to buy Thor this time around. I'm buying Hulk. What appears to be the first time in my life besides childhood. I've never been, I know I wasn't into I never got into the Peter David Hulk or even the Greg Pack Hulk or like just, my Hulk kind of falls apart around the Dale Keown years. And that goes back 30 years. And I wasn't really buying it then too. It was just part of the comic book shelf, it was part of the background. Of course, I kept my finger on it, like, oh, I'll look at the Hulk, but I'm going to buy the Flash. Speaking of Flash, it's issue number 6. And the first arc of the critically acclaimed series concludes. It's Legacy issue 806. Speaking of legacy issues, yeah, I mean, Flash is a great example of actually a really well curated issue, a legacy number. I mean, I think that was done correctly. Flash has been an ongoing since Jay Garrick and the Golden Age in 1940, and has had a few hiatuses and a few volumes, and especially since New 52. I mean, yeah, things can get convoluted. And if you ever really want to see like the progression of legacy numbers and stuff, get yourself an Overstreet price guide. Seriously. I mean, They kind of, like I said, these are publishing things, and there is an industry standard. Overstreets can be agreed upon as an industry standard. If you're rejecting Overstreet as an industry standard, you better have a darn good reason, and I'm here to listen to it. And I might push back on it, but I will listen to you. But I think it's fair and equal, and that the Overstreet comic book price guide is our industry standard as comic book fans, as hobbyists, and as people in the industry too, especially like collectors and shops. A very good system that they have about volumes and the dates of the volumes in the run, you know. But Cy Spurrier, Mike Diodato Jr., some really good like line art. Wow, look at this! Look at this cover. This cover D. It's a cardstock variant cover. Great cover, because that's what they're going for, is like some kind of like trippy Warren Ellis, Grant Morrison, just like it's a little artsy fartsy in there, I think. And I'm a huge Flash fan, but I am not buying this. Will there be another issue? Hold on. This is how you find out. Okay, Flash has been solicited. See down here at the bottom of the page. These are all the solicits. So we've been solicited issue 7, 8, and 9. All the solicits go almost up to the end. That's why they say the May solicits. Solicits go 3 months in advance. It's February. We got it. March, April, May. There's your 3 months. That coincides with the old system here. This is old system. See how it says August? 60 cents, issue 14, August 1983. Well, this came out in June of 1983. July, June, May. This came out in May. Maybe late April or early May of 1983. So by the end of August of 1983, that's when the retailer or the newsstand knows to take this off the stand. This is a newsstand copy. You can tell by the UPC code here. If it had a Spider-Man face, that would have been the direct market, aka local comic book shop version. And we talk about comic books here. You know it. I hope you saw that in a little. I should have blown that up. But yeah, so at least Flash has been solicited for 10 issues here. Let's look at Flash 9 real quick. The Speed Force chaos consumes the planet. As the Speed Force glitching causes more chaos around the world, another rogue is gifted with the mysterious powers that upgrade, while Linda seeks out the source of the mysterious voices she's been hearing. And Barry reaches a breaking point. It's $3.99 for 32 issues. They're really trying to get rid of this. We got Ramon Perez taking over from Cy Spurrier, though. And yeah, so that art battery isn't sticking. Yeah, Ramon Perez takes over the next issue. Goodbye, Mike Diodato Jr. Oh, see, I wish they could just keep the battery of writer and artists as consistent as possible for as long as possible. Going back to Indiana, here I come. We're going back, Will, to the Devron system. Avengers Twilight #3 is kind of Dark Knight Returns meets the Avengers. This is book 3, written by Chip Zdarsky. Great art by Daniel Acuna. This is $4.99 for 40 pages. This has 7 different covers for an issue 3 of something that's been already just written for the trade. It's going 6 issues. This is a 6-issue mini, and there is a 1 in 100 Taran Clark Virgin variant here. But its cover price is still $4.99. It's solicited here. Yeah, isn't that nice? But the it's the comic book shop that dictates the cover price of that 1 in 100, because they had to have ordered 100 copies to get that one, and they're going to have to want to sell those 100 copies. I know that there's a whole game behind it, speculating and covers and stuff. It really is. What else we got coming on? Invincible Iron Man number 15. Good to see War Machine. I love War Machine. I love Iron Man. I've really loved Iron Man all my life. I love different Iron Man armors. I loved it in like when Rhodey was Iron Man. Speaking of Black heroes, hey, it's one of the last days of Black History Months here in the United States of America. It's leap year, so we get an extra day of appreciating our Black brothers and sisters, and I mean that. Like Zoolander said that. I don't mean that like they were my relatives. I mean that like Black people mean it. I love Black people. I do. Gosh. Months ago, James Rhodes was framed and arrested on intel gathering mission that unearthed a terrible truth. August isn't planning to stop with mutants. They have every hero on Earth in their sights. Orcus will stop at nothing to achieve machine ascendancy. But when you've got to fight machines, it pays to have a war machine of your own. It's Legacy issue number 665, $3.99 for 28 issues. We've got it's a really cute. This is a 1 in 25 variant cover of Emma Frost, who is currently Mrs. Tony Stark in her own kind of White Queen rescue variant armor. I was telling you, I love variant armors. See, I don't mind this. And variant stuff like this too, they used to make great fodder for action figures. Like, I think this is really cool. I mean, too, and like, just what if she went into diamond mode? Could she encapsulate her armor into diamond mode? See, I already have all these questions about it. This intrigues me. This is comic books. And this is enthusiasm. And this is why we all tune in together. I'm loving this Phil Notto 97 variant cover. I'm really, really liking that a lot. I would probably get this just for this cover. I can be suckered into just getting it takes having Wheel of Steel. I last week I passed by a foil variant cover, a virgin foil variant cover of Power Girl number 5. It was beautiful. It was like sculpture. It was Greek. It was Roman, Etruscan, Egyptian. I'm just gonna keep throwing words out there and trying to sound smart. But it was just wonderful. I was really into it. World Tree number 8 by Image Comics. This is by James Tynion on his Tiny Onion production imprint. All right. This is, I read the last issue. There are things I found likable about it. I liked how it, because I like formatting of magazines. I like that kind of stuff. I mean, I hope you brought it. I brought cookies. I got double stuffed Oreos. Want some? Pika. He liked it. He ain't got cooties. Oh, by the way, next week is wash day. Throw them in the washer machine every month. It gets dusty in here. We get Harley Quinn number 37. It's $4.99 for 40 pages. This is written by Teenie Howard with art by Sweeney Boo. They usually have a really good backup story in these. A couple of them had, Kelly Jones on it. And I usually like multiversal hijinks. And this is just, it's we got one variant cover. We've got 2 incentive covers. Well, because Harley sells. For me, Harley Quinn, but you're denying her growth. You're punching down on marginalized and victimized peoples. This is so not anti-feminist for you not to really like Harley anymore, Sully. I like the original Harley the best. And this is her original costume. And it doesn't mean I'm punching down on anyone. It's like saying that I like Iron Man's Mark IV armor the best. And I like it better than like the Silver Centurion and the original Iron Man of 2020, Arnold Stark. I mean, those are their runners up. But it's going to be the Mark IV, and then the stealth version of the Mark IV. It's just that's where my head's at, Speaking of Sideshow, they had one of those and I missed it. But I've been liking Teenie Howard's work over on Catwoman, and I'm getting the proper amount of heat from the boys for that opinion. I don't mind that one bit. And it's good for me. It's good to see that writers can actually write competent, functional superhero stories outside of all the fluff messaging, normalizations, agenda, and advocacy and activisms. But beyond all that, it's good to see, like I said, like I read all 5 issues of Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2099 by Steve Orlando. And those were pretty good. It was like Marvel Team Up 2099, and I liked it. And I'm like, after reading Astonishing Iceman and his his Scarlet Witch stuff, it's like, I think it's a conscious choice to write in that flavor, when you could be making something a bit more universal that's going to, really hit with everyone. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, it's good to see that Teenie Howard can do the job. I know she's gotten a lot of flack for all of her, her Marvel stuff. I missed that stuff. I did. I wasn't there for that. But I'm here for now. And that's all we can ask. That's all any of us can ask. I'm on the hook for Duke. I love this stuff. Duke number 3 is coming out. It's got a bunch of variant covers. It's got a connecting cover. I will take any cover that has Baroness on it. Baroness. I love Baroness. It's in a special suit. I could have gotten either the Crimson Guard look or her classic black outfit, but something about this special ops uniform. I mean, I love Baroness. What a femme fatale. I mean, this is Greek art to me in a way. I mean, look at that hiney. Wow. Am I objectifying her? I don't care what you think. I mean, she's not a real person. This is sculpture. You know what I mean? This is an ideal. This is fiction. You know what I mean? Very few people are put together this way. And if you're lucky enough to get one, I mean, just enjoy the time you have. I love Baroness. We go way back. I had a Baroness action figure back in 84, 85. I had a Destro action figure from the get-go as well. I had a Cobra Commander mail order. I had a Duke mail order. I had a Cobra Commander mail order. I had the Boba Fett mail order. Because I was there for that. And that happened. I had the Sky Striker. I had the Rattler. I had the water moccasin that came with Cottonmouth. I love that toy. Oh, wow. And then my best friends had like the other toys that I didn't have, But yeah, Josh Williamson is really good. This has been fun. And this is on my pull list. That's one of the reasons why I got a pull list is so I don't miss Duke. We got the Resurrection of Magneto number 2. And who is Max Eisenhart? Is that like his real name? Is really, his really real name. It wasn't Eric Lencher. It's so convoluted of what they did to Magneto. Magneto's simple. And Grant Morrison had it right. Magneto is a terrorist asshole. And I think he works best when he's this bad guy. When you can think of anyone you want. If you're one of those Trumpers, treat him as Biden. You're one of those Biden, people, Harris people, treat him as Trump. You know what I mean? If you're Canadian, you know what I mean? Yeah, we don't get political on this show, but like, just think of him like he's a great imaginary super bad guy, and it works better that way. And that's why I'm been rooting for Lorna Dane, aka Polaris, to keep that green helmet in the style of her father and be the next Magneto. Penguin number 7's coming out. That's cool. I've been liking this. This has been part of my my digital pirate chest. It's written by Tom King, and this is honestly one of my, Tom King is very far from one of my favorite writers, and this is perhaps my favorite Tom King book. It's a place where Tom King can be Tom King, let loose with the darkness, because we're talking about Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, a crime lord of Gotham City. One of the reasons that Batman stays in business. And they tried to paint Penguin in different lights, once again, kind of like Magneto, toning down the big bad to make him morally ambiguous and kind of and to make his choices justifiable. No, I mean, that's part of the dumbing down of comics, I think. Yet he does a good job here because it's about a monster. He is a monster, and the lengths he will go through to get his privilege and his stature back. That's funny because he's a smaller person, a shorter person. So I don't know. It's a good use of Tom King's skill set. Is this particular title? So good on you. We got Dead X-Men number 2, and this is Kieran Gillen. No, Steve Fox, and this is one of the, I believe. Let's look the solicits. That this is one of the 4-issue mini. All right, last time there were 5 issues. This time there were the Fall of the House of X trade dress. These are 4 issues. So your trade paperbacks are getting a little slimmer. Yeah, probably staying at the same price. Everything ends. Prodigy, Dazzler, Frenzy, Cannonball, and Jubilee have gone farther and has risked more than any X-Men team before. Now, at the end of everything, the final fate of Krakoa rests on these 5 mutants. Will the dead X-Men save the seed of the future or kill it before it can even be planted? $3.99, 28 pages. I've been reading this because it's in my pirate chest, and I'm reading all of these X-Men comic books. So it's really interesting to have a fully informed opinion of X-Men. It's great. I got into a Twitter argument about 2 weeks ago over the whole morph stuff. And the first pushback you get are allegations. I was called a racist. I was called a bigot. And I think I might have almost been called a phobe because of the whole non-binary thing. And one person, rightfully so, this is great because this is gatekeeping. It's the same thing. They don't consider it that in a way. And it's like, oh, so what X-Men books are you reading? And I'm like, well, this and that. I thought that Alpha Flight and Dark X-Men started great, but they both landed so flatly. I ended up liking Uncanny Spider-Man, and I think Fall of the House of X has the goods right now out of all of them. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, I haven't gotten to follow the House of X yet, but I love the Krakoan age, and I don't want to see them go back to the mansion. And I'm like, what? So that's where I, kind of just, just like let go of that thread of the conversation, because I'm of the opposite, mentality. We should go back to the mansion. We've left the mansion so many times, and it's only natural, because it is fiction. Because in fiction, we can go back home again. Because it's the old adage, the old cliche, you can't go home again. Well, it's fiction. This is what makes it fiction. You can always go back to an idyllic state, a nominal state, one could say, perhaps. Is that what nominal means? What does nominal mean? Existing in name only. Yeah, sure. I mean, or it's very small, far below the real value or cost. I got that word from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, as a kid when the warp drive came back online, and Spock sacrificed his life in the Mutaran Nebula. You have been and always shall be my friend, Spock. I'm gonna start crying. All right, so let's. What else are you buying this week? Let's see. I've only seen a couple that I'm buying this week. I started buying Flash. I love Jeremy Adams and I love Flash books. This is very Flash family because it's about kids. I mean, look at this Francis Manapul cardstock variant of the Flash family. It's great. Don't you just love getting into it and being able to, and who's who and what's what? I mean, that's like, okay, we got Max Mercury, we got Avery Ho. Now, through the iconic costume and changes, this has got to be the Barry Allen Flash, because Wally has one jagged edge on his lightning bolt, and he's got a nose protector, and his eyes are usually whited out, I believe, or visored, I think. And so those are the subtle differences that you can tell Wally apart from Barry, who have nearly identical costumes. This is, Wallace West, the third Kid Flash, maybe fourth, but that's Judy Garrick, the Boom. That's Jay West, Wally's son. That's Iris West. I wonder if that's Iris West because they're holding hands, but she doesn't have a flash power, or maybe she's, getting flash powers from like static cling, but that's Iris West. And notice, like, she hasn't been race swapped yet in the book. I have a perfect story to make that happen. DC, call me. It will make it will fill your mugs full of fanboy tears, and I will give you corporate syzygy with your live action product, with the Flash TV show and the Flash movie with Ezra Miller. I will give you, I will finally give you your race swapped Iris West in a story tight way. And this has got to be the Wally Flash over here, because you know what I mean. Well, because usually, that you could say that about Barry, and that doesn't really count anymore. Anyone else that I can recognize? I mean, is that Jesse Quick's butt? I hope so. Runners usually have nice bottoms. What? They're comic book people. Don't worry about it. It's fiction. Typical people. You want typical people? Go outside. Go to the mall if they still exist. Go. You know what I mean? Go to the supermarket. It's full of typical people. This is why it's fiction, and this is why you have, because typical people don't look like that, and this is why these worlds are filled. That's what makes it fiction. People, these lack of, I think it's a lack of imagination, to be honest. The whole ideal representation thing. And, of course, representation matters. To say likewise makes you a pariah. And it's not, I don't even believe that anyway. I mean, I believe that representation does matter. But to purposefully like ugly down stuff, yeah, I mean, or to make it look like real life people. I mean, that's what that's what makes these fictional worlds. People don't look like that. Does someone has to explain fiction to you? An imagination? Apparently. Let's see, we got Power Girl, number 6. I love Power Girl, always have. And she's been hanging out with her multiverse alternate, Supergirl, a lot. Now, Power Girl is several years older than her multiverse younger self, or multiverse alternate. So, see, Kara Zor-El's got to be about, 18 years old or so? And I think Kara Zor-El of Power Girl is in her late 20s. And she's more fully developed, too. You can that's the thing. I mean, she's got, she's got a bigger booty. She's got a juicier booty. And her breasts are a lot more developed too. And that's like, those are the visual iconic things that you can look at both characters and figure out who's who very quickly, because Kara is still, I know that when she came back with the Michael Turner Batman Superman 20 years ago, Jeff Loeb, and that she was 17, and that was canonical because Mark Waid and George Perez had a Brave and the Bold that had Green Lantern team up with that same Kara Zor-El Supergirl. And here's like Hal feeling like a dirty old man, being like, "Oh, she's only 17, Hal. Knock that off." And is in a thought bubble. Yeah, that happened. I have that issue. I'm wondering, like, if she's of the age, if Supergirl's of the age of consent, could, like, could there be, like, would you date a younger version of yourself? Would that count as a relationship, or would that be multiversal masturbation? These are the questions we ask here at the Comics Talk, because these are comic book shop style conversations. Like, if you're a time, everything's predicated around age of consent. So don't put yourself in a dirty-minded or even precarious position. We're going nowhere near that. But if you were like, you came across a multiverse variant of yourself, do you, would you go there? Are these? I think I should ask Robert Meyer Burnett this kind of question. He's sexy and open-minded enough to answer that. I plead the fifth. I don't know what I'd do. I mean, but I've been single for so long. I just be like, oh, maybe can I hold out for the if I found my multiverse gender swapped version? Now we're talking. Would that still count? I mean, think about it. So I would love to see some kind of, like, you don't have to put real world politics and activism and stuff, but also say, would that be an asexual relationship? Would that be what see? Comic books are a fertile place for that kind of imagination and that kind of, talk. If you want to go in relationships with these comic book characters, then why not, be a little bit science fiction-y about it? List. Okay, so every time we go back, it goes to the top of the list. So I at least get one. Gonna get two. I'm only getting 2 books so far. Now I've followed the House of X Cable. I mean, I'm Spider-Punk. There's a new Jigsaw with David Cuppa. Sorry. I mean, geez. I never had a interaction with you. Now this is adapted from a Timothy Zahn book. Decent art and showing flat. So I guess the strength of this comes from the story. And let's see. And wow, how many editors does this thing have? Seriously, assistant editor, editor, senior editor, senior editor. Does this literally have 5 sets of hands to go through before it gets greenlit for print or publication? And we have incentive. We got a 1 in 25 Lionel Yu cover. Love this cover. Because this starts, I read the last issue. I like, because I want to like Star Wars stuff. This is pretty darn good. And so it's framed up as Thrawn met Anakin Skywalker back in the Clone Wars day. And then I guess, and that begins Thrawn's alliance to the Galactic Empire and showing his worth to the usually racist Palpatine. If there was any racism in Star Wars ever, it was Palpatine's humans only thing. And that someone like Thrawn was special because he transcended. Palpatine was able to transcend his own racisms and biases to accept and value this being who was so brilliant with tactics and so well at running a ship and a crew and a fleet that he was made a Grand Admiral in the Galactic Empire Navy. You know what I mean? Gee, and that's just, Thrawn is impressive. Well, original Thrawn was. Original Thrawn being pre-Disney Lucas Story Group Thrawn. Yeah. Thrawn Prime, one could say. But I like the first issue a lot. So I think that has more to do with the original plot and story by Timothy Zahn himself, who invented the character of Grand Admiral Thrawn. What else? What If Venom? Oh my goodness. Rare Flavors #4 is coming out today. I hope I get my issue. This is the final issue in this wonderful series. Just double check that. No, it's going 5 issues. Okay, there's one more issue. This has been a wonderful tour de force of story and art for me. This has got nothing to do with superheroes. This has got nothing to do with reboots or gender swappings and disappointments and our precious IPs and franchises here, and Kathleen Kennedy and Zaslavs and your Casadas and your Sobulskis and your Ghibli. Okay, enough. It's Rare Flavors #4 on Boom Studios by REV and art by Felipe Andrade. This was the art in this is just fabulous. It's got a very limited color palette and it works. There's also an element of food and of recipe and of food preparation and of savoring different dishes, which is what comes back in the end here, entering Act 3 of the story. Because the last issue left us off on a really good Act 2 nadir of what's going to happen next. And apparently our semi-immortal, one of our main characters here has been eating people, humans, and that's the rarest of flavors. And but it's about art and it's about myth and it's about food and it's weird and it's just so well done. This is the title that made me fall in love with REV's writing. And then I started reading Detective Comics after this, and tech is now I have the proper filter to really enjoy tech and to take it for what it's worth. And now I'm really interested to go back and get those 16 floppies of REV's Swamp Thing that was done recently. That was like Infinite Frontier flavored or something. And where REV basically takes Swamp Thing out of Alec Holland and puts Swamp Thing into a new host. an Indian guy, a Hindu guy from India. You know what I mean? Because that's who Ram V is. So holy self-inserts Batman. Well, who cares? I mean, Grant Morrison's been self-inserting himself into his stories all that time. You know, King Mob, Dr. Quintum. You know, you name it. He's all over his own books, and it's been fine all that time. It's just when it's used badly, I guess. But there's one more issue of this amazing slice of lifey meets Supernatural, and it works. It's beautiful art. This is a comic book. I can't say enough good things about it. It was one of my favorites in my top 5 of 2023. It's gonna collect very nicely. And hopefully, like me, it turns you on to Ram V if you're not already into him. Canary by Scott Snyder and Dan Panosian. This is one of the best books I'm not getting. I always pick this up and I put it down because it's like I don't really like Westerns, but I like the creators. And it's Image. No, it's Dark Horse rather. And was this one of Snyder's Substacks? And now he's publishing it in floppy form on a distributor and a producer such as Dark Horse. Is that what's going on? Because he did that with the horror movie one. I got that. I don't know. I'd like to know. I'd like to click here if you want to know more. Well, let's see. Maybe it will say something. Canary. Cover artist. Let's zoom down. Oh, so it's only 3 issues. All is revealed. The heart-stopping conclusion of this gruesome Old West tale. And let's see. Canary is a comic book series published by Dark Horse Comics. Overview. Type. Pixel age 2020 to present. That's an odd. That's an odd way to frame things because they're always, even Ben Day dots were pixels. I mean, that's just no. I reject the pixel age. That's stupid. I'm sorry if you're the one that made that up. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not. Pika isn't either. We don't use words like that here in this show. Conan the Barbarian. It's a big week. There's a lot out. Conan the Barbarian number 8. That was good. Amazon Attacks number 5. And this is going to roll into Shazam, I believe. Josie Campbell and is going to replace Mark Waid over on Shazam. So, and she already also did a recent Mary Marvel book. Once again, Mary Marvel. These are the Baroness and the Mary Marvel here are both Kotobukiya Bushojo. So they're done in an anime style. So they're supposed to be super cute and a little exaggerated. And but this is the whole Madonna and the whore thing going on here, man. Seriously, same producer. So they're like both traditionally not shown in an anime kind of style. But I mean, we have a femme fatale and a classic heroine of the golden age as well. Indeed, but she's so wholesome. She's not so much. You know? Pika, don't say anything about my big butt. Anyone can have one. You have one too. You are a big butt Pikachu. That's right. Oh, you shake that thing. Shake that healthy butt. Pika's got back. Pika's got back. That's right. Back to the show. Amazon's attack. Yeah, so this is all about the Wonder Woman backup players. Queen Nubia. Yara Flor. And Mary Marvel. And there's someone else. There's some other Amazons too. So it's like, yeah, let's be mean. Let's be mean. It's Diversity Chick Squad. Yep. Beat up the boys. But it's all power fantasies anyway. So it's like, who gives a fuck? But this is a literal spinoff, and it's parallel to Tom King's Wonder Woman, the first 6 or 8 issues or so. So that they're that's the Amazon story of one Thomas King. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by Boom Studios. People like that. Oh God, White Widow #4 is coming out. That is like one of the worst. This is like, it's like Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville bad. This is a terrible comic book. I mean, Sarah Gailey, sorry if I don't mean to insult you or your craft. I mean, like, hopefully I am not your target audience for this book, even though all comic book fans or most older comic book fans tend to share some kind of weird antediluvian 20th century notion that a good comic book can be made for everyone, and that you can just there's just an arrangement of the information and its presentation, and it makes it kind of just like a good solid hit. I mean, you don't have to hit home runs every time. Getting triples, actually, for me, is a lot more thrilling than seeing a home run. They're hell of a lot more rare. But White Widow, this is just it's not made for me. It's hard for it's easy to be mean to shit. Really, I could go on and on about this book. I could talk for the next half an hour about this book. I would bring up some old issues. I would show you some art. I would show you the story, the dialogue, the colors, the art style, the coloring, the onomatopoeia, the cutesy-ootsiness to it, the silly billiness of it. I mean, and all I'm gonna do is hurt this fucking creator's feelings and get blocked again by just someone who's just trying to apply their trade, and just, I mean, I wasn't a fan of it. I don't have to read it. I do because it's part of my digital pirate chest, and so it's kind of like, it's part of the review thing, and it's given to me in that spirit too. Like, read this here. This is what we're all reading. What do you think of it? And we talk about it. And this is a comic book shop style conversation, and we should be talking about all comics, and we should be reading comics that aren't made for us, to experience them and to have a well-informed opinion of why this did not work for me. And hopefully this will work with whomever it's intended to be, to be marketed to. I mean, I just saw a brilliant conversation with Michael from Retro Blasting. He's talking about the Madam Web movies, and that mysteriously, only in the past few years, it's a paraphrase, that Hollywood movie makers don't know who they're making movies for, especially like these superhero movies. You have a market. When you hit a certain demographic, you can expect a certain amount of like return. So when you do something like Madam Web, I mean, we are asking, like, you are making product for an imaginary audience. And by doing that, you are diluting the overall product. And so, but to say, I just like, is that criticism? Is that opinion? No, I mean, I can't. What is criticism and what is opinion? I mean, criticism is actually, there's a science to it. People train to be critics. A critic has years and decades worth of accumulated knowledge and is trained and can fairly compare these things to other works of art. And so criticism isn't about taking the piss out of something or taking a mighty dump on something just because you don't like it, or just because you don't like something about this human that's creator. I mean, like, I would I would hope to be entertained by a Yelena Belanoff story, a White Widow story, because where I last left off with her, Brian Bendis gave her a heel turn and she was a super adaptoid. I'd like to know how she came back from that. Is she carrying any guilt from that? It's probably been done elsewhere. But this one is just, it's kooky. It's wine aunt, kind of thing. Wine aunt is it's. I'm not meaning that as an insult. I'm meaning that as a descriptor. And it's just, I don't know. I hope it's. I say stupid shit. Like, this is by girls for girls, and we'll see if this sells. But again, it's like you could be telling a typical superhero story, a bit more, that it's less zany. I mean, that's what they're going for. And that's what Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville was going for. Anything else? Canary. Oh my God, I'm getting this. $6.99 Savage Sword of Conan #1. I got a pirate copy of this. 80 pages, $6.99. It is a magazine format. It is the rebirth of the old Marvel epic Savage Sword of Conan, which was a bit more mature. And it was just so good. I mean, the Max von Fafner line art, and it's black and white, and it's just this got the goods. I'm not even a Conan fan. I should be buying Conan the Barbarian by Jim Zub monthly. That's out too. It's a really damn good comic book. I'm just not into Conan, but this was so good. We got Marvel previews, Star Trek Defiant, American Psycho, The Expanse. I might start reading those books. The Expanse, The Nasty on Vault Comics. Picard's Academy. Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. Oh, here's good. Saturday Morning Adventures, Dungeons and Dragons 2, #2. That's good. I know we got people out there who get those ones, because those are fun, funny books. Those are good uses of the action figures. And that's it for this week. Indeed. Yeah, that's it for this week when it comes to previews. Let's look at the show notes. Oh. What's on the show notes, Pika? These are Sunday's show notes from the live show. Pika, you didn't. Wait. Let's look. No, maybe it's on the next page. You didn't make any show notes for today? Pika! What do we keep? We need to have a conversation. What? You want to raise? I guess it's going around everywhere. Oh boy, he's like the grocery bill. Pika's got to eat. Well, thank you so very much for tuning in today for the the comics talk with Reverend Sully here at your dojo for tactical and practical spirituality. It's where you can get some real traction on things. Um, a lot of it has to do with reformatting your self-talk. And I do that through gratitude and gratitude lists. It was a very practical tool, and it helped not just reformat my self-talk, but it allowed me to see a greater purpose in life. And when my day was going sideways, I could literally look at old lists and count these blessings, literally count blessings. And you can say to yourself, I've got 14 things to be grateful for today. Things are not as bad as my self-talk is trying to talk me into. And you start hearing a better voice in your own inner dialogue. Maybe I kind of call it the Lord's voice. It's there when we quiet our minds and our hearts, and especially when we start running our anger and not letting our anger run us. I believe you can hear the Lord's voice even clearer. This is true. Well, this is my truth. Yay! Hello. Hello. Big fan here. Cecil is love. Cecil is life. Back cash grab today. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us. We are the Comics Talk with Reverend Sully. We have a healthy dose of spirituality. We also talk about cooking. I'm a professional chef. I point out planets in the early morning or very early evening. It's the best time to see planets in the sky. There are 5 planets you can see with your naked eye, and I point them out, and it's just fun. And we try to keep it here as positive as possible. I feel like we are united through the outrage culture of fandom, and I really don't listen to the voices of the constant good guy. I mean, are there different voices out there in fandom? Do you think I should listen to? Because I feel I have my unique voice, and but we tend to be grumpy about the same things, and that makes some mythic other side of the aisle of fandom grumpy themselves with us in particular. I don't have answers. All I have are more questions, but if you have suggestions for some content makers that talk about comic books or have more positive spins on things, I listen to other opinions, and because they're important, you know. And someone said the nicest thing to me in Wes's chat on Saturday. It was like, I like having Sully around because it's like he prevents it from being an echo chamber. And I'm like, oh, thank you, man. I mean, I agree with those cats on a lot of things, but I just there is there's so much outrage out there in our culture, and it's like I need the opportunity to unwind. I can't unwind with this constant churning of this, that, and the other thing. The whole yakety schmackety, yada yada, all down the line of what the hot topic is. And some of that stuff might not even agree with how I feel on stuff. Yet, because of adjacency, I'm judged with them. But that's got more to do with those who are judging you than you yourself. It really does. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. Please like and subscribe. Please think about about subscribing to the channel. We are still a growing channel. If you're listening to this in the podcast format, let me know, and if you could leave a comment. I'd like to know if the podcast listeners are out there. We've been flagging, marking this as podcast for a couple of weeks now, and wondering, hey, is there anybody out there? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? There is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship's smoke on the horizon. You were only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot explain. You would not understand. This is not how I am. I have become comfortably numb. Nah, I've outgrown that comfortably numb thing, I guess. I'm comfortably robust and enthusiastic. And hopefully, you yourself, the most important thing about this show, I guess, is getting your ass out of your seat and getting back to your local comic book shop. Get supplies there. I needed them. You need bags. I need boards. I need boxes. I buy them at my local comic book shop because they need our patronage the more than the online supply chain. Seriously, there are brick and mortar mom and pop shops, and they are local businesses, and they are independent bookstores. Huzzah. And we can keep them alive with this American way. Seriously. And get your comic books there. And if you read something digitally that is worth it, go back and get the physical copy. Yeah, well, that's what I do. So cheers to you. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those funny pages. Ciao.